Hey everyone, this is Andre with Garage Door Guidance again. I had a quick video today on how to change garage door rollers. For those of you who are changing your rollers or are thinking about changing your rollers, I would definitely recommend the sealed nylon rollers. Those do seem to be the best ones. They stay quiet over time just because they are sealed so dust does not get into the ball bearings. It makes sure that your rollers last as long as possible. So yeah, let's get into the video. Typically your garage door will have 5 rollers. On a standard 7 foot, 8 foot, or older doors may have 6 rollers on each side, which isn't unusual. You just may have to buy an extra set, which again, they're not too expensive. I'll have a link down in the description below. You do have this first one. Do not unscrew it. This is the one I wanted to put the most attention on because right there you see that cable? That cable comes from the top of the door and connects to this bottom plate here with that roller. So that's the most dangerous roller to replace, and some people might even leave it, and that's totally fine, but if you really need to replace it, I'll show you how to do that as well. But the other ones are fairly easy. You got the roller in your number 1 hinge, roller in the number 2 hinge, number 3 hinge, and the top roller. Now this roller, you'll see it's attached to kind of a different bracket. That's just because of the type of track that's on this door. This is the bracket that most of you guys will have. Just kind of looks something like that. So, just like that. And I'll show you how to replace all of these. So for these 3 rollers that are on the hinges like this, those are the easiest to replace, and so we'll go ahead and do those first. I've just got my little Makita impact gun on with a 7/16 socket on it, and so what we're going to end up doing, we're literally just going to go ahead and unscrew the entire hinge, like just like this. And there you go. So right there you can see we've got the whole hinge removed. The door itself is still standing in place. Just because the door is closed, it's not really going to go anywhere if you take off just a single hinge. So at that point, just take out the old roller, put your new one in, and from there, you just reattach the hinge. Always start with the bottom one first, just because the bottom ones are typically always aligned. In that the hinge will sit correctly with the panels, because it does, where the hinge does bend, you do need it to be even with the 2 panels there. So when you screw in that bottom screw first, that makes sure that it's all lined up properly. So I'll go ahead and put that back on. The way you do that, you just kind of slide the roller into the track, just like that, and then you just bring down the hinge to where it was. Put the little screw in just like that. Sort of just straighten it out and put the other screws in. So it's just as simple as that. So now you would do the same for the number 1. I did number 2 there just because it was right about my camera height, and the number 3 hinge. So with this little bracket, you also usually have either 2 screws here and 1 on the bottom, or 1 on the top and 2 on the bottoms. You just unscrew that as well, pull the roller out, put the new one in. So you just slide it back into place, you put those screws in the exact same spot, and that's it. So super easy as far as changing out those rollers. And the same thing actually applies to this particular bracket. If you have one like this, you literally just unscrew it and put it in the exact same spot that those screws were in at first, and that should be it. So since you've changed all the rollers now, aside from the one with the tension on it, you're pretty much good to go. A lot of people actually leave it at that just because they don't want to mess with the tension, and honestly, it's not a bad idea at all. This guy here, do not unscrew it. This particular bracket with the roller, you do not want to unscrew. You might end up hurting yourself. It's just a huge danger involved with just unscrewing this bracket here. So don't do that. The way you change this roller is you actually open the door up to where that roller ends up right here, where these 2 tracks meet. And from there, I'll show you what to do. So one way to do the roller on the bottom with the tension is by essentially coming up to this point right here. I have my door open. What you can do is bend this whole piece kind of outward so that the roller has room to pop out. I wouldn't recommend it this way, but I mean, it is one way that you can do it. The other way would be just to completely remove the track when the door is down. I don't want to do that one with you guys just because you do have to make sure that it's 100% in the same spot when you're done. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that either you do it this way or you don't do it at all, just because, again, you're dealing with the tension, and I just don't recommend it. So one thing to keep in mind with this route is when you bend this out, you're going to change the roller, but you want to bend it back in to make it as flush as possible, like it is right now. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, I got just a pair of vice grips here. What I'm going to do is grab this right there and just kind of bend it out. So you see that? Now it's just got a big kind of gap here to where roller will just kind of pop right out. Essentially, I'm pulling the panel this way, I'm pushing the track that way, and at the same time pulling the roller, kind of pulling everything forward so that I can get that roller out. So let's go ahead and show you. So I have that roller out. So from there, you obviously put the new one in. But you just kind of have to pull the panel back outward towards you, push this track out. That pops right back in. You still have to be very cautious with this method. But now that that roller's back in, we just bend this track piece. Let me go ahead and put this closer so we can see a little better. Alright, so you saw how that's bent out. So I'm just going to grab my vice grips and bend that right back in. Usually you try to go with the same spot you kind of used before. That way you get as close to match as you can. So you see, not very pretty. So grab a hammer, just kind of bang it back into place. And from there, you kind of just adjust it with the vice grips as necessary. It's never going to be 100% perfect after that, which is okay. It's not going to, which is totally fine. It's not going to do any harm. So yeah, you just kind of use your vice grips and your hammer and just kind of make it as, you know, as straight as possible. The main thing is that so when you run your finger like this, it doesn't get jammed up, because what will happen is sometimes if the metal's sticking inward, it'll eat away at the roller, and we don't want that. So just like that, it should roll nice and smooth, no problem. Perfect. So there's how you do the bottom roller with the cable attached. Do not unscrew that one. Again, very dangerous if you do. Number 1 roller, number 2 roller, number 3 roller. Again, those ones you just unscrew with the bolt itself, remove the hinge, change the roller, and put it back on. And of course the top one there, that one again, you just either, if you have this bracket or the other, again, just remove the bolts and put them in the exact same spot once the roller is replaced. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Again, if you guys wanted to pick up some of those sealed nylon rollers, I have that in the description below. If you enjoyed the video and that did help you actually change out your rollers, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, just want to say thanks for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.